Well, President Obama, former President Bill Clinton hitting the links over the weekend. This is a photo from last year's golf outing. Now, while we don't know what was said between putts in this year's outing, my next guest is hoping that the former president was critiquing more than just his successor's swing. Art Laffer was a top Reagan economic advisor. And Art, I believe you voted twice for Bill Clinton, right? Because of his proper mix of taxes. Explain.
Yeah, I sure did. I mean, except for the rate hike at the very top end, he cut taxes on the working people between ages 65 and 72. He cut taxes on traded products. He cut government spending as a share of GDP dramatically. He cut the capital gains tax rate. He put in welfare reform. I mean, what do you want from a president that Bill Clinton didn't deliver? I just loved it. I mean, he was a great president.
Now,
and
on
I
the
don't
investment
understand the advice
taxes,
now.
I'm sorry, Art, on the investment taxes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was that concurrent with what was going on in the income tax hike front?
No, it was not. The capital gains tax rate reduction, which he dropped the highest rate from 28% to 20%. But the thing he really did that was amazing was he exempted owner-occupied homes from ever paying capital gains taxes again, $250,000 for a couple every 2 years and $125,000 for an individual every 2 years, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
In other words, he gave you your lemon and your sugar. In other words, he didn't just pile on the onerous tax hikes. He would balance it out with something appealing that would please Wall Street, which in retrospect it did, and please Republicans, which in fact it did.
And also
do you see any of that
here?
Any of that here?
No, I don't see any of it here. In fact, what I hope the Republicans do is extend all the tax cuts except those 4 at the top end, and then have a separate bill extending those 4. And if the administration won't go along with that, then you just have a stalemate. And I'd love to see a stalemate. But I want to make sure that all the tax cuts that can be extended are extended. I want to make sure that happens. And then after that, you can fight over the 4. But I don't want to do some grand diabolical compromise. Because frankly, I don't think we're going to be better because of a compromise.
So a bad deal is worse than no deal to you?
Oh, is it ever? A bad deal really would be very detrimental. What they're trying to do now is get capping all these other things, increasing the stimulus package. I mean, the tax rates on the upper income, I don't know how you can avoid it, Neil, to be honest with you. They control the Senate and the White House. But we should extend everything we can extend. And then let's fight over the top tax rates. But we know how far they're going to go up, and they can't go any higher without the concurrence of the House.
But we do know that it's not just returning, but it's not returning to Clinton-era tax rates, as you pointed out, between some of the surtaxes on the wealthy, Medicare, and everything else. You're talking a much higher rate than Bill Clinton ever had.
Oh, yes, of course you are. Yes, you are. And also, you're talking about much higher spending. Do remember that government spending is taxation. These guys don't create resources. They redistribute resources. And what they've done here with this is they've had a huge increase in taxes, which is why we have the very bad economy we have today, Neil. It's unfortunately, we're never going to bring this economy back unless we get control of spending and get towards a low-rate flat tax. You just can't do it.
I don't think either side has offered enough on the spending front. The tax debate, I'm like you, I think is sort of baked into the cake that was a result of the election, and they do have consequences, and whether you like it or not, I think you're right on the wealthy rates go up. But I don't see enough, even with this latest proposal on part of Republicans, to kind of adhere to what with the debt commission to cuts. Is A, too little too late, but too little more to the point?
It is too little. And what I really think has to happen here is you're not going to get a good answer in the next 2 years. You've got these groups going at it, and they just aren't going to get it. We have to wait and see what happens in 2014. And there are 33 Senate seats up. The Democrats have 20, or the Republicans have 13. There are 9 freshmen Democratic senators up. Let's see what happens. If it happened that way in 2010, if we take the Senate, then I think Obama will then see the light. I mean, if you hold his feet to the fire, they feel the heat and see the light.
All right, we'll see what happens.
I hope that's the way it happens.
All right, we'll see what happens. Art, thank you very much. Art Laffer.